their curiosity is expressed really by how many things they break. And you see it as a distraction in your china closet upon doing so. And so, but to promote that curiosity within the mind, body, and soul of an adult can transform the world overnight. Your curiosity, whether or not you have the right answer to begin with, your curiosity gets you there. So that's why when I'm approached often to comment on these Gallup polls that show that a fourth of Americans think that the sun goes around the earth and not the other way, I'm actually less concerned about that than I am if those people had no curiosity to pursue that question. Because then you ossify in whatever was the last textbook you read, and you think that that's okay to move on in a world that continues to advance, especially in the 21st century, where literacy and science and STEM fields in general will be the foundations of the properly functioning democracies of the future. You cannot have leaders who do not understand what science is, what it isn't, how it works, why it works, and claim to be enlightened governors of your world. And so I think for me, the key element here is not looking up, but have you been curious lately? Then, once I knew that takes hold, I just go to the Bahamas and the world can take care of it.
I'd be curious to hear each of you, is there one topic that you just didn't get to cover in these 13 episodes that when we do another 13 down the road, you'll get to cover? I'd be curious to hear each of your answer in that.
Gosh. I mean, the topic of extraterrestrial life is always really interesting. It's so hypothetical. I think there should be cosmos. I think there should be a lot more cosmos here. I really do. At least not another 30 years go by,
But is that like the woman just gave birth on the table and you say, you want another kid?
Yeah.
Do you need some breathing room here, you think?
Well, I didn't say when.
Okay, fine. Then we're okay.
I don't know. What? Any topics that you?
Yeah, I think you hit a good one there. These set of 13 episodes did not address sort of the idea of what it would mean to come in contact with life that we would judge to be intelligent, or that other life would judge us to be not intelligent, right? So this is an interesting philosophical point, because we have not meaningfully communicated with any other species of life on Earth, yet we share DNA in common with them. And so to say we're intelligent and we are therefore the measures of intelligent, of course, we're defining that. That's hubristic of us, all right? So now to say, now let's go to another planet, find an intelligent species, and then communicate. Well, who's to say that we have just enough intelligence to even pull that off? Why wouldn't it be that this next species we find in another planet would view us the way we view dogs or chimps or worms? Maybe they're that much more intelligent than we are. When I think about this, I end up reflecting back on how we treat each other, how we assess each other's intellectual talents, and I just say how hubris it is of us to have any of these kinds of thoughts at all. Maybe we are the dumbest of the intelligent species, but you don't think that, because that would be a depressing thought. But built into this are things that Stephen Hawking commented on, and I hate it every time he talks, because the press comes to me to comment on it. Right? It's like, can you chill out for a few months? Give me a break, Stephen. He commented that if aliens came upon us, they would clearly be more advanced than we are, because they traverse large gaps of space to get here. And they would just enslave us and suck our brains out and the like. And so you can ask, well, what is driving you to think this? And because we actually have some evidence of what happens when a high technological culture meets a low technology culture. Our species bears this out multiple times in the history books. And it doesn't bode well for the culture that is less technology. But I would say that to fear an alien for that reason is more a reflection of how we know we treat each other than it is on how we could ever possibly suspect an alien to treat us. And so, why should we be the measure of hatred in the universe? I don't know. So I think there are topics out there that can, by the way, it's only I can't claim to be the full Cosmosian spokesperson because she carries the Cosmosian DNA. But I would say that what makes something cosmotic is it's science that somehow requires that you then look back on yourself and look at what our place is in the face of that information, in the face of that vista, in the face of that understanding of where we fit. And in the way I describe this thinking about intelligence and aliens, I think there's room in there for us to be cosmotic about it. But I would certainly defer to Anne because she emotes she sweats the universe. She emotes the universe. She glows the universe. She feels the universe. Anne.
Actually, there are many stories, untold stories, such as the ones that we did tell in this series, of people who are heroes of knowledge. And I would love to tell more of those stories, especially the ones that are my favorites, which are the stories of people who have to really struggle against all odds because they don't fit in, or they're poor, or they're female, and who have added to our understanding of nature and the universe. I'd love to tell more of those stories because I feel like that's a great way to teach the ideas. We are a story-driven species. And I know I wasn't a good science student. I wasn't, I really couldn't concentrate on it. And I think one of the reasons is that it was was denuded of all its passion, denuded of all its excitement and the things that resonate with human beings. And it wasn't a way of seeing everything. It was kind of a collection of facts to memorize instead of a great saga, an epic with many heroes. And so I'd love to tell more of those stories. I'd love to do more on neuroscience and on the significance of what we're discovering about the brain and its meaning for selfhood, its meaning for identity, its meaning for our human social organization. I'd love to do more about our relationship to the other living things on Earth. Carl and I wrote a book called Shadows of Forgotten Ancestors, and it was about our relationship to the other species. And during the course of researching and writing that book with Carl, I learned so much more about what we share in common with other species. I'd love to write more about that. And there are so many other worlds to visit in the cosmos, other galaxies. I would love to sit down with Brannon and Rainer and the other people we've worked with and conceive what that would look like. So, there's no limit, really. there's just no limit to what you can do and what science is revealing about how wondrous the universe is.
Not surprisingly to me, I would echo what Annie said when we got into this. The idea of creating the heroes of the cosmos